Gentlemen, hope you're all having a good time wherever you are around the world. Thank you for joining us. We are here for round 5 of the Belgium Grand Prix VRL F2 Championship. With me on co-commentary today is a familiar favourite to the VRL F2 commentary stage. It's Moraine from VRL F1. Moraine, thanks for joining. How have you been?
Yeah, been good. Of course, last 2 races I wasn't here to commentate, so
yeah,
nice to be back again.
The fans have certainly missed your voice and your insights, so it's great to have you back on board with us. So yeah, an exciting race. Have you been able to keep up with what's been going on since you've been away, particularly the last race in Germany?
Yeah, I saw there was a bit of rain as well.
Yeah, it was an absolute crazy race, which was eventually won by our debutant in the McLaren, Kessie G, with a last lap overtake on the championship leader Ice-T, the Racing Point. So it'll be interesting to see if any other shocks and surprises can come. Of course, we need to see, and the big question remains, can anybody catch the championship leader, VSR Ice-T?
Yeah, interesting. He's got a big lead, if I'm not mistaken, so
well,
the chasing pack needs to hope that he has a bad result this time.
Well, as it stands at the moment, the consistency is the key, as you've just mentioned. And Ice-T has been doing that in abundance all season long. He currently leads the championship by 24 points to Burkeye, and also Pepine in the Renault as well is fairly close behind them. So it's not an insurmountable task at the moment, but it's going to take quite a big effort from some of the chasing pack in order to stake a challenge. But it'd be great to see towards the rest of the season. We're not quite at the halfway point, so we've got plenty of racing to go.
Still a lot of races to go.
So, as I alluded to already, ladies and gentlemen, this is the Belgian Grand Prix. Now, Belgian Grand Prix, one of my favourites and favourites of a lot of drivers, particularly in the paddock this weekend. Just a little history on the track. This track hosted races back as early as 1925 and was also part of the first year of the inaugural Formula 1 World Championship in 1950. This track used to be 14 kilometres long and was designed for speed, which was mainly used on local public roads. However, the circuit become quite dangerous, and they had to cancel the race in the 60s owing to many fatalities to drivers, and was restated back in 1983 on a much shorter version that we're familiar with now. So a little bit of trivia for you guys there, as we're waiting to see some action, some drivers coming out of the garage. For those of you that are new to VRL F2, the way that we go in qualifying is the first session in qualifying. It's 18 minutes, one-shot session. Go out there, set the fastest time. Whoever's fastest at the end of it will be on pole, and the rest of the drivers will line up based on who is fastest after that. And then we have a 50% race on top of that, which around here will be around 22 laps, as I can see a car. I think I got my maths right this time. And we have VRL_line is usually the first guy to come out of the pits, and once again he is out on track. So the weather here is usually notorious for wet weather races. We are familiar with quite a few wet weather racing in VRL, and hopefully this race will not disappoint.
Spa, it's always very unpredictable, the weather. Rain is always a big threat here. Could be even later in the race or at the start, and then it will dry out. Oh, what? Kimmy's retired.
Ah, that's a bit strange there. Something must have gone wrong, perhaps with his connection, or perhaps he just didn't fancy qualifying. A bit strange. So, Moraine, I know obviously you're going to be racing here tomorrow, and I'm always interested in getting your feedback and your thoughts on every race that we go to. So, without giving too much away, what kind of setup do you think that the drivers will be looking for, bearing in mind that the first and the last sector are mainly focused on speed, whereas the middle sector is very tight and twisty, so
Yeah.
you've got to find the right balance. What would your mindset or what would your thoughts go towards a potential setup for this track?
Yeah, it's always tricky to get the right balance with top speed and cornering speed on this track, as there are not really that many slow corners, only in turn 1. It isn't that difficult, but especially in the middle sector you have a lot of fast corners where you need that rear downforce, so probably you want to have low downforce on the front and then higher downforce on the rear, so yeah.
Yeah, it's important to
You
find
have
that right
top speed
balance.
and, yeah, top speed and speed in the fast corners as well.
Also, we're just on board now, and it's all the first incident already, and Vrl line has crashed at the top of Radion. He's completely lost it already, so, well, we were on board with him. The first incident already, and he is out of qualifying already. That's,
Yeah.
well, I was just about to talk about the potential dangers of getting it wrong at the top of Radion.
Yeah.
Almost tempted to say Rouge there, but and you can lose it very, very easily. And VRL Line is just giving the fans a great demonstration of how to get it wrong. And just as you said there, Marijn, you were alluding to getting the balance right between in front and rear downforce, and it seemed that perhaps he wasn't carrying enough rear downforce because he lost the back end, went into a bit of a tank slapper. Next thing you know, he's in the wall, and that's his qualifying session over, so he will start at the back of the grid.
Yeah, you need to be confident going up that hill, because if you are doubting if you'll make it, you'll always spin, and yeah, you will doubt if you'll get through there every single lap on the race. So you need to get a good... Oh, and there's a Haas who spun. Big Roo is in the wall. He's lost his front wing.
Oh, is he really? Sorry, I was just following Neil Tix at the moment. Is Tix the first driver that's going to complete a lap? Or will this count? No, it will not count. So obviously he's had an incident somewhere.
Oh yeah, he invalidated it. I can see it on the track. Just enabled that, forgot it as well.
So Ice-T, the first driver across the line to sell a lap. And Tim Coronel goes fastest just behind him, but Tim Coronel is on the softer tyre, whereas Ice-T is on the mediums. So I guess my next question, Marijn, is if you were to choose what tyre to do your flying lap on, what tyre would you go for around here?
Yeah, the strategy is soft to medium. It's easy to get the one stop done on soft to medium or the other way around, so you could go for the mediums in the beginning and see you have a big advantage at the end. You have to make sure you're at the front in the first stint and keep your nose clean to optimize the strategy.
Yeah, no, absolutely right. And strategy is going to be important this race because some drivers will be tempted to try and one stop. It's a very long track, so there's a lot of tyre wear that's going to be affecting the guys, and you really do not want to be too aggressive on your tyres. But two stopping might work a bit better.
I don't know. The one
but it's a bit of a risk.
Usually on this track. There's not that many laps. So.
No, you're right. I suppose in a way it kind of depends on instances in the race which prevents others from following the strategy for like a safety car, as we do see that a lot.
Car, yeah. Oh, Magical also.
Yeah, so he's out. Has he had an incident somewhere? I can't see.
Yeah, if you watch on board with his teammate, he's in the wall.
Oh no, that seems to be happening a lot.
Yeah. Yeah, with cold tires it's very tricky around this track, especially at the top of Radion, where we will see some drivers go off as well in the race, and we already saw Vrl Lion going off there and ending his qualifying.
I was just on board with Burkhardt, who's gone into the pits and abandoned that lap. So now we're on board with Papine, who's currently third in the championship. It's been a strange season so far for Papine. He's put in a few good performances this season, but he's kept his nose clean for most of it. And as a result, he's found himself one of the leading positions in the championship. Do you feel, Moraine, that perhaps if he keeps going and is consistent, maybe he might be able to stake a championship claim under the radar almost?
Yeah, yeah, he needs to make sure he beats VSR Ice-T then. So it will be interesting if he can do that. And yeah, as he goes into the pits, he invalidated his time. Maybe he's quite a bit behind Ice-T now, so he needs to improve his time later in the qualifying session to get in front of him.
So we're just with DRS aquaplaning, who completely lost it by the looks of it at the entrance to the chicane, and it's took a while to get himself out of trouble, but he's gone straight into the pits to put on a new set of tyres. And still so far, only 7 drivers have actually stood at a time. If you've just joined us, VRL Line and Magic Alonso smashed their cars up in qualifying, and they'll be starting at the back. Kimi as well, not quite sure what happened to him. Although Kimi, I noticed you're in the comments section, so please do let me know what happened to you, why you are out of qualifying. It'd be good to know.
I forgot about that. Could be. He retired immediately, so.
Yeah, it's a bit strange there.
Yeah, he said I retired because if I don't get a qualifying, I'll give myself one. I deserve it.
So
he thinks he deserved a qualifying ban, so he retired on it.
He must have done something pretty bad to get that one, then, other than just leaving. That sounds like something you'd give to a Roman Grosjean after that incident in 2012 where he nearly killed Fernando Alonso. For those of you that remember that incident, hence brought about the original discussions of bringing in the Halo, which we know and I want to say love, but no, it does its job, and I suppose we're used to it now. So for you eagle-eyed listeners as well, just with 8 minutes left to go in the session, as the times are starting to tumble a little bit now, so we're with Big Roo. Just to let you know, I haven't forgotten about my question in the comments section, so I'm going to give it to you guys now, and I'll give you time up until the start of the race to see if you can get this right. So the question for this race in the Belgian Grand Prix is, of every single world champion since the year 2000, which one of them has not won the Belgian Grand Prix? So no cheating on this one, no going online and checking. I want to see if you guys can guess. So I'll repeat the question. Of those drivers that have won the World Championship since the year 2000, which one of them has not won the Belgian Grand Prix? Please answer in the comments section. Let's see which one of you can get it. It might surprise you, Moraine, which one it is, but I won't reveal until before the start of the race.
I'm gonna have a thought about that.
Of course, make sure not to guess, Moraine, until after qualifying session is finished. But it was this one should be a bit of an easier one than the last race's one. I'm aware that nobody got that one. I wasn't expecting you guys to either. So with 6 minutes left in the session, we're on board here with Big Roo in the Haas, currently in 4th place, setting his time on the soft tyres. So far only Ice-T, Bois on pole and Sean Larry have set a time on alternate tyres, so anything other than the soft, so they're going for the long game. And Big Roo's completely ruined that lap, so we're going to move on to another driver. So with P&P Roddy in the Mercedes, should also point out to you viewers, you would have noticed that J_Fletcher is not racing in the Red Bull this week. A heroic drive from him on his debut, which unfortunately saw him end up in the wall with 2 laps to go. But this weekend he's back, he's in the Mercedes, and hopefully he'll be able to go one better, but he's quite far down the order as P&P Roddy goes 3rd in the Mercedes, and Stein as well in the Alfa Romeo. Great effort from him, he goes 2nd fastest just behind Tim Coronel. Tim Coronel starting to become a bit of an expert qualifier at the moment, I must say, as well. He looks like there's an absolute traffic jam towards the final sector. You've got Burkeye, Tim Coronel all trying to queue up to get into the pits. So for those of you who just joined us, welcome along to the qualifying session for the VRL F2 Championship Round 5 here in Spa-Francorchamps. So far, only 10 drivers have actually completed a flying lap. 3 drivers have retired from the session, all of which smashing their cars up. And at this point, Tim Coronel, once again, our maestro in qualifying, is currently on provisional pole position. So, Marine, if you were in Tim's position, now bear in mind, Tim, I think this will be his 3rd pole position of the season, if he gets it. Tim's biggest problem is not being able to convert that 1 lap pace into a race win. He got a podium in Britain after a solid drive there, but for you, what would be going through your mind if you were Tim, having trouble, struggling, as Niltix goes fastest, I should say. That's a great lap from Niltix, first driver in the 143s. So will the others respond? So yeah, sorry, go back to my earlier question. Is there anything that you'd be doing in particular if you wanted to try and change your 1 lap pace to go fastest?
Oh, Roddy gets a 5-place grid penalty there.
Oh,
interesting. Yeah, the question, well, I would ask myself why is this problem affecting my race? Because yeah, if you qualify well, you should be able to get a good finishing position. But yeah, it could be on setup, so it's more qualifying based setup, and not if the setup does do the job in the race. It's really not ideal for the race because you lack a lot of pace compared to the others who do have a good race setup. So
yeah, so I've always been a fan of that way to go with the race setup.
It could also be just that he is a good qualifier and not that good in race pace. That his concentration isn't good enough for that. But yeah, let's see what you wanted to say.
No, so it's a weird thing because the mentality of some of these drivers, and also in Formula 1 in racing in general, it's quite interesting to see how someone like Tim Coronel can absolutely nail it in qualifying when you're under pressure, and yet over the course of the race when you'd want to settle down, be consistent, get into a rhythm, for whatever reason he's just not able to do that, as well as someone like Ice-T, for example, our championship leader, who is a quick driver, but it wouldn't exactly say he was the best qualifier amongst the current grid. Yet in the race, the guy is very consistent, he's very fast, he always ends up in the podium places, if not winning the race itself. And that's what you really want to have. You want to be able to have that balance, and that's the difference between winning a championship. You don't get points for qualifying, unfortunately, in this format.
Well, if people want to set a lap, they have to go out now, and they're too late for now, so...
Well, I think the timer, as we remember, is always a bit delayed, so...
Oh yeah.
But having said that, if nobody is leaving the pit lane now, I would say the chances of getting a qualifying lap in are practically next to 0.
Yeah, a lot of people leaving now, so that's probably the weird qualifying glitch.
Yeah.
Oh, 5 cars went at the same time.
Oh,
it's
well, I am
really
going
busy.
to... I'm just with Burkeye at the moment in the Ferrari, who hasn't yet set a time. And he's right in front of his teammate, Sean Lowry, who has set a time on the hard tyres. And at the moment, Burkeye is weaving around to get those tyres warmed up, but you don't really want to take too much out of them soft tyres. Currently 12th at the moment. So if you've just joined us, ladies and gentlemen, you've joined us for the right moment really in qualifying. There's a lot going on as the driver's now on track jostling for position just to be able to get across the line in time and get a qualifying lap in, as Sean Larry has passed his teammate who's donning the soft tyres on. So we're going to be keeping an eye on those guys as they cross the line. Currently right now, Niltix is on pole position in the Racing Point, followed by Tim Coronel, the qualifying maestro of Formula 2 at the moment, who's in second. Stein in the Alfa Romeo is third, Roddy in fourth in the Mercedes, and Ice-T, the championship leader, is fifth. However, he is on the medium tyres, and given the delta is around 6 or 7 tenths between the two sets.
Paul was on the hards in 6. That's very, very impressive, because
yeah,
hards are way slower than.
Well, it's almost about, you'd say about
so.
almost 8 tenths to a second, you would say, compared to the soft tyres. So that's a hell of a lap from Brian Pole. Like you said, yeah, absolutely brilliant lap. So we're now with Ice-T in the Racing Point, who's on the soft tyres now. We're just on board with him at the moment. I'm going to flick back, ladies and gentlemen, because I want to see the traffic behind.
Ice-T fastest through the first sector.
So it looks like they're all going to get over the line and get the laps in. So we're back on board with Ice-T. So I'm going to talk through it. And she's just going through Lassos. He's coming through corner with no name. As he's coming down the straight, coming towards Pooh. Let's see if he leaves it in. No, he shifts down into 6th. So not as much traction as he would have liked, but he's still able to floor it quite early. And as you said, Marine, fastest in the first sector. Is he going to be able to keep that going in the middle sector? Let's see how his time stocks up at the moment. Oh, so he's a lot faster. Wow. Well, he's the second. I believe that's on his own time. So right now,
is also faster.
Right now, it looks like Ice-T is around half a second up on his teammate. Going into the final sector, he's gone through the long straight. Now towards the chicane, he's going to get the braking right. Goes in, it's very nice and smooth, not too greedy on the entrance, and he's patient at the exit, back on the power, opens up the DRS, coming across the line. Wow! 1 minute 43.3 from Ice-T. Well, that's as cool as you like. What a lap. So the championship leader.
Cars coming up soon. 2 McLarens, X Games and DRS Aquaplane.
Yeah, it looks like a lot of drivers giving up on their laps. Looks like they've either had them cancelled off or they're not able to improve. But what a lap from Ice-T to talk about sending a message. Oh, he's lost it on the exit. Oh, and he goes 7th.
That cost him a lot of time.
And Aquaplaning goes faster. And Big Roo is retired.
Oh, that's everyone.
Yeah, it looks like. And Sean Larry on the medium tyres in the Ferrari has gone 2nd. That's a great lap from Sean Larry. He's put himself in prime position.
It's a great lap.
Big Roo's there, but it looks like provisional pole position. And Big Roo's been disqualified for the session for parking in a dangerous location. Now, I'm not sure if that will take him to the back of the grid.
Yeah, it will.
So that's, I'm not sure if he meant to put it there. But that is, he's not going to be happy if that does. So, to confirm the end of qualifying, championship leader, VSR, Ice-T, in the Racing Point, pole position, half a second faster than anybody else. What a great lap that was from him, but more importantly, Sean Larry in the Ferrari, on the medium tyres, only half a second off. So he's definitely going to be one to watch out for. As we go down the order, Niltix in the other Racing Point, 3rd, Tim Coronel, usually on the front row in most qualifying sessions, only 4th in the Toro Rosso. PMP Roddy was 5th, but he will take a 5-place grid drop for an earlier collision. Brian Pole will start 5th, then Tom Coronel, his teammate, and then the 2 McLarens following after that to make up the top 10. So an exciting race that we have in store, Moraine. Is there anyone in particular that you feel is going to stop Ice-T from making it another win?
Yeah, it could be Sean Larry, but yeah, it will be very interesting to see them fight. It's a strategy battle as well, because different strategies, and if there's a safety car, that would mix things up a bit.
Not to forget that the weather could play its part as well. There's plenty of races in the past that have been decided by that. And including the famous race in 2000, for those of you, a bit more trivia for you. Mika Hakkinen, in my opinion, performing the greatest overtake of all time when he overtook not just Michael Schumacher, but both drivers went around Ricardo Zonta to lap him, and Mika Hakkinen went to the inside following that to overtake Michael and go on to win the race. If you haven't seen it, I would suggest you go on YouTube and have a look. It was a fantastic overtake from Mika Hakkinen. Definitely worth another watch. But this race has had plenty of action in the past. I remember in 1998 when Damon Hill and Ralf Schumacher famously finished 1-2 for the Jordan team. But as if you can remember back then, and after a famous incident involving Michael Schumacher again crashing into the back of David Coulthard whilst lapping him in the wet, ruining both their races. Yeah, the garage fire, I remember that one. Michael Schumacher, I tell you what, I know David Coulthard's a tough guy, but I would not have wanted to have been David when Michael was storming down that pit garage. And bear in mind, if Michael had won that race, chances are he probably would have won the World Championship in 1998. So it's moments like that that can be the difference between winning and losing a World Championship, and Michael knew that better than anybody. And this race also holds a special... also holds special memories for Michael Schumacher. This was also the race where he made his debut for the Jordan team in 1991. Although he did one lap. Did you know that, Moraine? Of the race?
No.
Yeah, it was a problem with the clutch, I believe, in the car, and that caused him to retire in lap 1. But he made an impression in qualifying, qualifying in 7th, well ahead of his teammate. And obviously got signed permanently to the team in 92 and then took his first victory at the Belgian Grand Prix. For Schumacher, this was also the track where he won the World Championship in record time. It was the 2004 World Championship he won faster than any other driver in history, relatively speaking, and was also the setting of the final World Championship that he had won as well in 2004 in the Ferrari. So before we start the race and line up the grid, for those of you waiting patiently for me to reveal the answer to the question, so congratulations to Philip Smith, who was the first driver to get this right. It was indeed Fernando Alonso, who has never won the Belgian Grand Prix. The two-time world champion in 2005 and 6, never won in Spa, amazingly. So now the driver's just lining up on the grid now. We're about to start the race. We are almost ready as the cars are lining up. Hope you guys are comfortable. Get yourself ready. Strap yourselves in for some Vrl F2 action as we're about to get underway as the final car, Big Roo, is taking his sweet time to get onto the grid while everyone else's tyres are going to cool down. I'm not sure if that was planned, but I don't think he's going to be popular in the paddock afterwards. Especially after Smith-Hagen qualifying. So now the lights are ready to go. Get ready. Wait for it when we are... Guys, don't get ahead of me. We are... racing, and it's a great start from and IT's been delayed off the line, and it's a terrible start for the leader. It's all going to the first corner, and there's collision already. Oh, DRS Aquaplane has driven into the back of the Williams in front of him. Oh, there's absolute just been able to get away. Oh, and it's oh my word! Oh my goodness! Wow!
Because we have a safety car. Oh, there's a
Who
Williams flying.
That was a Williams flying. Wow!
Tom Coronel.
Tom Coronel out of the race.
On the track.
Wow.
The Red Bull has survived somehow.
Somehow,
without a front wing or whatever.
I'll tell you what, I caught a glimpse of that, so eagle-eye viewers are going to have to let me know how that all started, but Tom Coronel flying in the air in the Williams. I don't think I've seen a Formula 1 car flying on this game in a long time. Since the YouTuber Championship edition in 2015, when Benjamin Daly sent Nico Rosberg flying at the end of the Italian Grand Prix. That's the last time I've seen a car flying there. Wow. So, I mean, the safety car's just come out now. We did predict a safety car. Didn't think it'd be this early. There's a package just going through now, so... See, NRG Destructor, well, he'll be lucky. After losing a front wing, he'll get a reprieve, being able to avoid losing too much time to make a pit stop. But there will be other drivers with damage looking to make pit stops as well. interesting to see which
Ice-T
drivers pit.
hasn't got any damage.
No, so I don't know what happened to him. I mean, following him, there was a bit of lag on his connection. I don't know if he's had problems with it, or it just never seemed to get off the line. I don't know what happened to him. All the other cars went and he didn't, and
McLaren of DRS aquaplaning has a lot of damage. He's forced to pit, I believe.
yeah, he's just coming into the pits now.
Same with Burkeye.
Well, he had an incident where he drove into the back of a Williams. It might have been Tom Coronel. I don't think that instigated the incident where Tom went sent flying. But yeah, it certainly didn't help. So is anyone else pitting?
Big Roo gained 9 positions on that opening lap.
Wow. Considering he started at the back of the grid, he's probably back to where he was meant to start, to be fair. So no hard feelings there for Big Roos. Back into the top 10 as Pepine has pitted, NRG Destructor has pitted, Burkeye has pitted in the Ferrari as well as DRS aquaplaning. And so yeah, we're lap 2, ladies and gentlemen. If you've just joined us, you have missed absolute carnage of a start. The race leader VSR Ice-T did not get off the line properly at all. It was delayed by some reason. Sean Larry in the Ferrari, Tim Coronel, Bois and Pole all just left him for dust. And then a massive collision resulting in Tom Coronel getting his frequent air miles in, flying over towards after the hairpin, just absolutely in the air. I know what the thumbnail for this race is going to be. YouTube later on. So also just as worth noting, I did notice that Kimi did jump the start, so he will have a penalty as well to serve for that one.
I believe you can't serve a drive-through under the safety car. So
no, not at the moment. Yeah, so he has to wait.
Interestingly, we have the leader on mediums, then Tim Cornell on softs, and then the car in third, Bois and Pole on hard. So strategies are very different. And then from the car in 4th to 13th, everyone's on softs, and then we have
and Ice-T's left the
hard.
session. Sorry to interrupt you, Moraine, but Ice-T is now ghosted. I did say he was having connection issues by the looks of it when I was following him on board. And once again, just like in the British Grand Prix, he is now disconnected, so he's going to have to try and get back in the race if he can. Thankfully for him, it's a safety car, so he's got time. But this is not what he would want, the championship leader. Not what you would want at this point in time. Although right now, his main rivals, Burkeye and Pepine, are well down the order. And he's rejoined. Oh, that's good to see. Hopefully, he can get that car will solidify and he'll be back in the running. But he's still got time. That was a huge collision. They're probably still cleaning the debris coming out of turn 1. That what used to be Tom Coronel's car. Thankfully, he's okay. I mean, this is the virtual world of Formula 1, so thankfully there's no problems for the drivers. Although it's just something that we probably shouldn't joke about. It has, in recent years, taken... it caused a lot of problems, and it's caused injuries to Juan Manuel Correa in Formula 2, last year's F2 race. Thankfully he's recovering, and unfortunately it took the life of the late and had the potential to be very great Antoine Hubert, who take this opportunity to declare and wish my condolences to his family and friends, probably still mourning and thinking of him at this time. And it's a true shame. He was a great driver. I remember watching him in F2, and he had a lot of talent, a lot of potential to get into Formula 1, and it's a cruel reminder of how dangerous the sport can be. So thinking of you at this time. So back on the safety car now, so a penalty there for speeding in the pit lane. I mean, we've joked before. I didn't quite catch who that was.
DRS aquaplaning, I believe. Or it could have been for track limits, or speeding in the pit, I don't know.
Well, we joked about it before in other races, Moraine, where the Formula 1 is the reward for speed, but not in the pit lane, unfortunately. There's a time and place for that. Remember in the pit lane years ago, you used to be able to go at full speed back in the 80s and early 90s. Not so much anymore, thankfully.
It's a bit dangerous.
Yeah, well, I remember anyone who see some of the older races in the past, I mean, sometimes I feel like I'm showing my age when I talk about this. I remember seeing Ayrton Senna driving through Suzuka at full speed in the pit lane in that famous race in 1989 with Alain Prost. So the safety car is now coming in at the end of this lap, ladies and gentlemen. So if you've just joined us, you've joined us at the exact right time now. So we're going to get Sean Larry in the Ferrari on the medium tyres, bunching up Tim Coronel. And X Games 276 in the McLaren is ahead. I'm not sure what happened to him. How did he get past Brian Paul? I thought, unless I've missed something. Anyways, we will get back to that in due course, as we're about to get underway and go racing once again, ladies and gentlemen. Hopefully we'll have some racing and we won't have another incident like we did before, but you never know in F2. These drivers are very racy and more often than not have difficulties avoiding incidents, but it's great to see.
So now we'll probably go at the exit of the chicane. Yes,
and he's underway. Yeah, he's underway. He's caught Tim Coronel napping there. Oh, and it's a spin, and Brian Pole's had a collision with Roddy.
Oh.
And he's lost
a bit of damage.
Yeah.
Oh, that's so unfortunate for him.
And Ice-T, and he's going to lose so much front downforce up the top of Radion, and he's already lost the position to Magic Alonso down the Camel Straight. We've got Ice-T going around the outside of Roddy. Can Ice-T just back in the action? Can he make the move stick? There's wheel to wheel, they avoid touching. Great move from Ice-T, and he's managed to get ahead of Roddy. As Roddy got damaged as well, can't quite see. And yeah, so Roddy's lost his front left end plate as well, so he wasn't really able to carry the speed. And that's allowed championship leader Ice-T to get back into fourth place, who thankfully has been able to rejoin us, and he's going to be back on the charge to try and reclaim the lead and put some daylight between his championship rivals.
So he gets overtaken by Niltix as well.
Yeah, Roddy is falling back, and Magic Alonso in the Renault and Fletcher in the sister Mercedes all over the back of him. Is he going to try and go for a lunge here? He doesn't this time around, but Magic Alonso is right behind him. He's literally pushing the Mercedes along. This is great stuff. Oh, and he's gone wide. And now Magic Alonso and Roddy. Magic Alonso's ahead of him on the track, but they're going to be side by side. There's no DRS yet, and oh, it's a great move from Magic Alonso. But Roddy's still there. Is he going to go for a dive? And Roddy's gone round the outside. What a move! And he's still going. And what a move! Oh, and he's lost it, Magic Alonso. And
how did they save that? Fletcher reacted very well.
He did indeed. He's probably getting flashed to what happened in Germany, and he's managed to avoid him there. Well, I mean, I was going to say, what a move from Magic Alonso, similar to what Verstappen did to Felipe Nasr in the 2015 Belgian Grand Prix around the outside. And but then Roddy came back at him into the chicane around the outside as well, and he made it stick. And now we're coming down the Camel Straight. It's Niltix in 6th place now. He's going around the outside of Roddy. Can he make this move stick? We're just on board with him. You've got Magic Alonso and Fletcher right behind him. They all stay a line of stirred together. This is some great racing. It's great to see. We haven't had too many collisions.
Train forming up behind Roddy.
Yeah. Well, he's got damage on his front wing.
Inside 1 second or something.
Well, Big Roo as well is behind him. He's got some damage to that right front end plate on the Haas, so he's not really able to keep up to the back. As Brian Pole gets a 3-second time penalty for multiple warnings, so a little bit of corner cutting on his part. But once again, we're just following this train, Moraine. It's brilliant to see. That avoiding incidents is one thing, but surely how long is Roddy going to be able to keep these 3 cars behind him? They're literally swarming him at the moment.
Yeah, behind them it's another train, a much longer train behind Big Roo of like, let's say 6 or 7 cars.
So now we've got Niltix, he's going to go around the outside. Roddy covers the outside, he covers it again, and there's a collision with Magic Alonso, hits into the back of Niltix, but they managed to avoid any collisions. And going together, and then we've got the chasing pack behind Big Roo as well, and now DRS is activated. These
Fletcher
guys
down the inside of Magic Alonso.
Oh, it's a great move, but they're all going to be coming up to the top now. Just going over the top of Radion. We've got Sean Larry at the top.
Oh, there's a Red Bull who's out. That's VRL Lion.
And BSR Ice-T, sorry to cut in again, has gone around the outside of X Games and L1, 276. That's a bit of a mouthful.
Oh,
and it's a safety car.
Safety car.
I'm wondering if that was called by VRL Lion
Oh,
retiring.
Burkai has crashed at the top of Radion.
I'm just coming to that now. I can't quite. Oh yeah, there he is, the stricken Ferrari. It's Kimi drives past him. Wow, it's a shame I couldn't see what happened there. Unfortunately, we're not able to follow all the action and get replays, ladies and gentlemen. So I do apologise. But as Mariah said, yes, Burkai out of the race, losing it at the top of Radion, similarly to how VRL Line did in qualifying. And we're down to one Ferrari now, and that Ferrari is leading the race in Sean Larry, who right now is sitting pretty on those medium tyres at the moment.
Soft runners, this is a chance for them to pit, you know, on lap 6. They could go to hards. I don't know if the mediums will make it to the end.
It's possible. It's possible. It's a good idea, actually. I mean, if I was a soft runner, I'd be tempted to go onto the hards. It'd be interesting to see what Sean Larry does, because right now he's on the right strategy, but this safety
he can't go to another set of mediums.
Oh, he's going into the pits.
So that does mean he is going to hard tires.
Yeah, and also Ice-T.
Ice-T
games. And Ice-T is he disconnected again?
It's hard for Sean Larry. So he will go to the end. Tim Coronel leads. Niltix also doesn't pit. There's a lot of cars in the pit lane. Mercedes double stacked their drivers.
Yeah,
Fletcher's waiting for Roddy. That's gonna cost him.
Oh, that's horrible for Fletcher. He's sitting there. Just seeing him now. He's sitting there waiting, and he's going to be putting on the medium tyres.
He'll join in
and
he's
also got a penalty to serve as well, I believe, maybe.
Oh.
Or they're not ready for him.
Wait for Kim as well.
Ah. Well. When it rains, it and he's lost out to Big Roo as well, who's just pulled out right in front of him. I don't think that's an unsafe release, but that's changed the order up a little bit now. There's Sean Larry on the harder tyres, so is Ice-T. Games L276 and the McLaren, or call him X Games actually, he's on the medium tyres, so he's taken a bit of a gamble, like you mentioned, Morena. So is Magic Alonso, so is Stein, so is Roddy, Papine, Aquaplaning, Fletcher and Kimi, all on the medium tyres now, so they're going to try to go to the end. Only Sean Larry, Ice-T and Big Roo have gone on the hard tyres.
Yeah.
And whereas Tim Coronel and Niltix
are still on softs. If they pit now, they're going to be in last. So.
Well, unfortunately for Niltix, he was kind of in the same boat as Fletcher, really. His teammate ahead of him had pitted, so perhaps he didn't want to double stack and lose more time, but you're absolutely right. By doing so, he's now, well, put himself in an awkward position at this point. He's going to need something to happen to help him out.
The top 3 haven't pitted yet.
No.
We have everyone has done 1 stop, and then Papine and DRS Aquaplaning have done 2. So.
However, Jaffa Baboon, who's quickly become my favourite name on this grid, he is on the medium tyres after doing 6 laps. NRG Destructor 33, also 5 laps in on his medium tyres in the Red Bull. So I'm wondering if they're going to try and carry on, make these tyres last. It'll be easier to do that on the mediums, and they go softs to the end, and they're going to be mega fast, hoping that something happens like another safety car to bunch the pack up and give them that opportunity. Because right now, Niltix and Tim Coronel, I don't think it was the right decision. And Tim Coronel, we were talking about him earlier in qualifying. He showed qualifying, but there's certain elements to his racecraft that does let him down on the Sunday, or Saturday in this case, and not able to capitalise on his qualifying performance. And once again, he's found himself in a position where he could miss out on a potential win owing to the outcome of the race, really. So just as a general recap, ladies and gentlemen, if you're enjoying this action, as I'm pretty sure that you must be loving what we're showing you in the F2 leagues, if you want to see more content and be up to date with all the latest racing going on, as we also have races on the Sundays as well, please do follow and subscribe to the YouTube channel. That's Hot Lap Mode VRL PS4. Please subscribe. You can also follow us on Instagram and Division Racing League, and also Twitter VRL_PS4. Please also follow our sponsors and partners at Hot Lap Mode. These guys are incredible at producing great content and also bring the latest up-to-date news with what's going on in the real world of Formula One. So make sure to give those guys a follow as well at Hot Lap Mode. So that's a shameless plug out of the way, Moraine. And it's going to be very interesting to see how the order shapes up. Thankfully, there doesn't seem to be any weather issues. Seems to be the only thing we haven't had yet in this race.
Yeah, I saw a driver who sent the forecast. It would remain cloudy, but probably it's not gonna rain, but it's very close to rain.
So we have an inside man now giving us the weather updates from a couple of miles away, standing on the top of a hill somewhere, sticking their hand out to feel for droplets, maybe. They used to do in the old days. It's a funny thing, I mean I joke about that, but that's something they used to actually do, believe it or not. They'd send a guy or someone about, I don't know, a couple of miles away, go stand outside on the top of a hill and basically sit their hand out and feel for weather, and then phone it back in to say it's on the way. Don't think we're going to have anyone doing that today, but it's good to have someone on the inside doing that. So the safety car is in this lap, ladies and gentlemen, so if you've just quickly gone out to
10-second time penalty.
Wow, what has he done there?
You only get a 10-second time penalty if you cut like a whole section. If you, for instance, you go straight on at the chicane.
Perhaps what he's done, considering where he is on the track.
Yeah.
It's not very smart from one pole.
Makes no sense to me, because he would have caught up.
Well, he's ruined his strategy now, given that he's now ready to go. And but now we're back underway now, as Tim Coronel bunches Niltix up, almost brake checks him, but he gets underway. As we're back underway, ladies and gentlemen, once again, we are green flag racing. And he's got to serve a penalty as well. And it's Destructor 33 trying to go around the outside of Ice-T, and the McLaren, and X Games just about keeping it out of the barrier.
Roddy down the inside of Eau Rouge, is that going to go well?
Wow, they're colliding, and he's going to go wide. Roddy just about keeps it up.
On time.
Yeah. And now he's going to be under pressure because DRS Aquaplane is going to have a go at him around the outside here. Roddy keeps his position, last of the late breakers. Well, it's a great try from Roddy.
Would have been in the wall.
Well, it was that great incident, reminded me back at the time Mark Webber passed Fernando Alonso on the entrance into Eau Rouge and into Radion. They made that move stick, but it looks like X Games was not giving Roddy any room at all to make that move come off for him. And Jaffa Baboon has received a 3-second time penalty for multiple warnings. So Moraine, I think you're going to have to stay on top of the old penalties as they tally up towards the end of this race. As you are ever so good at doing for me.
Oh no, hasn't got a penalty. Niltix has one. Yeah, Jaffa Baboon or Alex has 8 seconds, so that's a lot. So Larry hasn't got a warning. So
we've got Magic Alonso right about the trying to get up the inside of Destructor 33 in the Red Bull. Renault versus Red Bull. Former engine suppliers of the Red Bull team. But this time, Destructor 33 in the Red Bull wins that round.
Got a good exit.
Oh, he's got a bad exit out of the chicane. And Magic Alonso's being squeezed as hard as he can. But I tell you what, it doesn't look like that Renault has a lot of straight line speed. They're just not quite able to get ahead. So staying with those.
10-4 miles made a gap. So he's
checked out at the front. To come up to the top of Radion now. It's Magic Alonso shaping up a move. There's no DRS on this lap. Magic Alonso around the outside of Destructor 33. Can he make that move stick around the outside? Can he keep it there? No, this time again it's the straight line speed or lack thereof. Magic Alonso, so he must be running a lot of downforce, a lot of wing on that Renault. He just cannot get past the Red Bull. There's a bit of a train forming behind Destructor 33 as well. We've got Magic Alonso, Stein, X Games, Roddy and his teammate Aquaplaning. X Games teammate Aquaplaning I should say. All within 2 seconds of each other. And Magic Alonso trying to go around the outside again. But once again, Destructor 33 later on the brakes seems to have a faster car in a straight line. And the Renault just can't get round him. Can't get past him. It looks like he's going to have to wait. Oh, Nick touching again.
Now then, he's really close now. So can he... there's a car behind X Games.
X Games is out.
I don't know how that happened.
No, neither did I. I was busy watching.
Virtual safety car this time, luckily.
Oh.
And this is working beautifully for Tim Coronel.
Yes.
He's right at the
and they
pit
both
entry,
pitted,
and
yes.
the top 3 pit because they haven't pitted yet.
Well, what a stroke of luck.
Much time.
What a stroke of luck for the leaders. It's not a full safety car, but it's the next best thing. So Tim Coronel, as we were saying, he was just checking out at the front, so was Niltix. That's an opportunity, and unfortunately for Jaffa Baboon, he's got to serve a penalty while he's waiting. And so
there's a
Niltix.
Mercedes under the safety car, Jay Fletcher.
Fletcher's, he's lost it, yeah, Fletcher, he's spinning it around, he just can't seem to get back on track.
Oh.
I mean, was that a collision? Teammate?
No, I thought he spun on his own.
Yeah, it looked like it when I joined him.
There's a train behind NRG Destructor.
As we're back under racing again, I should say.
4 cars. 5 cars. Oh, they're really close.
Yeah, Senate Destructor's holding a train of cars behind him. You've got Ice-T and Sean Larry, who funny enough were the lead contenders in the opening stages of this race.
Both on hards.
Both on hard tyres, so great battle coming up there. But Alonso round the behind of Destructor 33. Ice-T is right behind Sean Larry. It's now Alonso once again trying to go around the outside, but he just doesn't have the speed to overtake the Red Bull. And you've got...
It's really interesting now, as we have the top 2 on hards, and then the 5 cars behind, not that far behind, only 2 seconds. They're all on mediums, so I think they'll all go to the end, and it will be interesting to see if the medium runners can catch the guys on the hard tire.
Magic Alonso trying to go around the outside again. And Roddy's gone round, and Roddy's hit the back. Oh my word!
No.
And Roddy, what was he thinking? What was he thinking? And there's more
he's
collisions.
hit the McLaren again.
And Destructor is out of the race. Is he?
Safety car.
Safety car
my
again.
God.
Is Destructor out of the race? I don't think he is. But a severe collision with Aquaplaning in the McLaren, and that all started, Moraine, from Roddy in the Mercedes getting way too late on the brakes, completely moving Alonso out of the way.
Jack gets a drive-through penalty.
I mean,
speeding under safety car.
What was Roddy thinking? Just completely took out Destructor 33, and you have to sympathise with the Red Bull driver because he was doing a good job, and through no fault of his own now has ended up having another collision with DRS Aquaplaning and has lost his front wing as well as a result, and he's down in 9th place. And we're at another safety car. I mean, ladies and gentlemen, I have said all season long that these guys in VRL F2, whilst they are quick, they are no strangers to accidents and collisions. And these are the sort of things that the F1 team's bosses will be looking at in terms of trying to find the next diamond within this cohort of drivers. This is not the thing they'll want to see. They want to see clean, fast, hard racing. And at the moment, excluding the top 2, you can't really say that everyone else has not been privy to that. There's been action everywhere. So whilst we take a breather under the third safety car period, amongst many things in this race, we are just past the halfway point. So just as a recap, for those of you that didn't join us at the start, Championship leader Ice-T was on pole position, didn't get off the line at all, as Sean Larry, sorry to disturb actually, has gone into the pits. And so has Ice-T, and Magic Alonso as well, so's Roddy. They're all coming into the pits.
Will be a sprint to the end on mediums.
Yeah, but what this is going to mean is Jaffa Baboon...
Tim Coronel stayed out.
Yeah, Tim Coronel is going to retake the lead, but then to be fair, Tim Coronel's mediums are only 2 laps old, and he's only been on them for about 1 lap because he's been under the safety car.
The cars behind have gone on to softs.
Well, it's to be expected.
I didn't think they could do 10 laps, but they can't.
I think that was the reasoning, to be honest, mate.
Yeah.
No other option for them, and to be fair, I would have probably done the same, but...
Yeah.
So Tim Coronel, thankfully for his sake, about 5 minutes ago probably thought, oh my word, I've lost the lead of this race, now finds himself back in the lead again. However, the likes of Sean Larry, who was going to go to the end on the hard tyres, and also Ice-T, have both pitted, put on fresh sets of soft tyres, and they're going to be hunting him down very, very hard indeed, and Tim's going to have his work cut out if he wants to win this race.
Yeah, it will probably be between Tim Coronel, Sean Larry, Ice-T, Magic Alonso and Stein Koister. I don't know if Stein can keep up because he's also on mediums.
Yeah, I mean Jaffa Baboon's going to have a hard time on those hard tyres.
Yeah,
I mean he's in a good position now, but...
And he's got a drive-through as well.
Yeah. So he effectively is running plumb last at the moment, even though he's currently sitting in 3rd place. So ladies and gentlemen, in the comments section, let me know who you think's going to win this race right now. It's at this point we have literally no idea. At least I don't think I have no idea who's going to win this race. I mean,
and Tim Coronel, Sean Larry, Ice-T and Magic Alonso all haven't got a penalty, although Tim Coronel has 2 warnings, so he needs to be careful. If he goes off track one more time, he also has earned himself a penalty. So
yeah, and that's not what you want.
Yeah.
So yes, do let us know, ladies and gentlemen, who do you think is going to win this race with just over 8 laps to go, the Belgian Grand Prix? One thing I do know is this race will not be finished behind a safety car, as the game does not allow for that, thankfully. But I'm probably right in believing or saying, Moraine, that the safety car's probably led more. The safety car's probably led more laps of this race than anyone else has.
Yeah, exactly. The safety car period is normally 3 laps in this game, so yeah. The Mats always had 3 safety cars and 3 times 3, so it's 9 laps of safety car.
Well, I mean, it's fun to joke about, and I suppose if there are any F1 team bosses watching, like I imagine yours at Mercedes might be, Moraine, just to have a little scout at some potential. If there's any driver out there that they feel has the potential consistency and the speed to be leading races for them, it's Bert Meinlander in the safety car at the moment. Your Mercedes colleague, I believe. That has impressed me the most. He's been quick, consistent, he's kept the pack behind him, and he's avoided incident in that safety car. So yeah, good for him. So whilst we're in this another safety car period and the pack's being bunched up, as they should get underway soon, don't forget, ladies and gentlemen tuning in, we have the VRL F1 race tomorrow, also at Belgium for round 8 of the championship. I was on commentary for the last round, and I've got to say it was exciting stuff from lap 1 to the end. Some of your favourite drivers, like my co-commentator Moraine, Felix, Philip Smith. Of course I was going to plug you, my friend. I want to see you win from you tomorrow. I'm hoping for big things. No pressure.
I won the race last season in Spa. So.
Exactly, and I know that because I actually saw the video the other day. Just to see. So yeah, no, I remember. That's why I'm cheering you on, mate, because I'm expecting you to maintain that performance. But yes, so please do tune in for that race tomorrow. It's bound to be an exciting race. If it's half as exciting as this one has been, you're in for a treat. It's on 2:30 p.m. UK time. That's 3:30 European time. Wherever you are around the world, please do tune in, and you can watch that live on the VRL underscore PS4 YouTube channel. That's Hot Lap Mode VRL underscore PS4. Or Hot Lap Mode VRL PS4, I should say, excuse the underscore. But yes, please tune in tomorrow, 2:30 VRL F1. So we're back at the action. 14 laps gone out of the 22. We've got 8 laps to go, and Tim Coronel currently leads in the Toro Rosso on the medium tyres, but he has Sean Larry, Championship leader Ice-T, and Magic Alonso all on fresh soft tyres, ready to hunt him down for those podium places. Moraine, before we get underway, who do you think is going to win this race?
Yeah, it could be any one of the top 4, so yeah, Tim Coronel will have a hard time fighting those cars on softs, but it's probably gonna be one of the 3 cars behind him.
Well,
so Sean Larry, Ice-T or Magic Alonso.
Well, we are back underway. The driver's getting impatient behind as there's penalties going everywhere for collisions under the safety car, but we are back racing in Belgium once again. Everyone going into the first corner. I was going to say no collisions, but the McLaren of Aquaplaning and Kimi having a little touch there, but it looks like they've all managed to get away without any serious incident as we now go up Radion, as Sean Larry's got mega wide coming out of Radion, and he's got Ice-T to go round the outside. Is he going to make that stick? We're on board with him now round the outside, and Ice-T, last of the late breakers. Oh, and Sean Larry's late braked even later, but he's managed to maintain second place. Absolutely, yes. Tim Coronel will love this. He wants them two to battle as Ice-T goes around the inside. Can he keep it together though, because the car tends to understeer on that corner, but he's okay, and they avoid collision as they go down to No Name and through Pouon.
Oh, he's going down the inside again.
And Ice-T, and they've touched tyres, they've kept going, but Ice-T has got up into second place, got the shoulders out, barging Sean Larry out of the way, saying, excuse me, I am coming through, and he is up into second place. Wow. And now it's going to hunt down the leader.
Broken the DRS range, so.
And that's vital around this track. If you can break the DRS, you've almost half the battle. As Destructor 33 is out of the race. It's had another wreck. Unfortunately, we can't see it, ladies and gentlemen. But Destructor 33, who's had no luck in this race. If he didn't have any bad luck, he'd have no luck. And he is out of the race. And now Magic Alonso around the outside, but not quite right. He's on the softer tyres, remember. But remember, as he was trying to pass Destructor early on, he just doesn't have the speed in a straight line. This is running a lot of downforce, and that Ferrari is as powerful as they come, subject to the engine controversy with the FIA in the real world of Formula 1, but we're not worried about that in this game.
All cars are equal.
So now Ice-T is now within 1 second DRS period, is well in and out of it at the moment. DRS is not available yet on this lap. So Tim Coronel is going to have to try and break that again if he wants to stay ahead of Ice-T. As we've now got Fletcher up into 6th place, and he's down the inside. No, he's gone to the outside of Stein. They've touched, and Stein has been spun around. Well, it's a shame for Stein. He was really caught up in the wrong place there. The stewards might want to have a look at that incident. It was very aggressive from Fletcher around the outside, but could be deemed as a racing incident. It's unfortunate there for Stein. He was running a good race, but now he's down into 13th place.
Nilfix is spun.
Yeah, he's
way behind now, so.
Yeah, he's completely lost it. And Niltix is another one of those drivers, Moraine, that doesn't seem to have much luck in these races. He's got pace. He's a very quick driver, but he's no stranger to incidents. If he managed to keep his nose clean like his teammate Ice-T does, he'd be fighting for race wins like he is.
Yeah.
And aquaplaning, another penalty for him for multiple warnings. As we're now with Ice-T chasing down Tim Coronel for that race win. What an opportunity for Ice-T to stretch the lead in this championship, as both his championship rivals are not in the points at the moment. Burkhardt is out of the race, Papine is in 11th, and Ice-T sets the fastest lap of the race, which is an extra point as well.
Yeah, Sean Larry can't keep up with Ice-T. So.
No. And now DRS is enabled, ladies and gentlemen, so as soon as Ice-T comes up the camel straight on the as Tim Coronel has got a penalty because he cut through at the top of Radion, and now Ice-T's got the DRS open as we go on board with him. Tim Coronel is weaving right, then left, and then right again as Ice-T does not lunge into the corner. He will bide his time. He knows he's got plenty of time. He's got 6 laps to pass Tim Coronel, who's on medium tyres. So he's almost given up half a second a lap in ultimate pace. Further down the field, everyone's sort of bunching up at the moment. As Fletcher is now chasing down Magic Alonso and Sean Larry, who are both on soft tyres. So it'd be a great drive from Fletcher to get past those two on the soft tyres while he's on the mediums. For those who remember the German Grand Prix, he showed a lot of pace. Unfortunately retired 3 laps from the end from a mistake that caused him to crash into the barrier, so we know he's fast. But can he overtake the Ferrari and the Renault whilst on the slower tyre? As now VSR Ice-T is also coming down to chase down Tim Coronel. He's going to get DRS once again. And Tim Coronel is weaving everywhere. Is he going to go for a lunge into the chicane? Tim Coronel tries to block around the inside, but Ice-T is brake late on the outside. Can he make that move stick? They're so close together. Tim Coronel gives him enough room.
He has to get past, or Sean Larry will pass him as well.
Oh, they're all 5 of them. 5 of them are there. And Sean Larry might go for a move around the inside. And Magic Alonso's gone late on the brakes. And so is Fletcher. It's all going off now, and Fletcher just manages to hold on to it as they're now coming down to Eau Rouge up to Radion as well. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of them all racing. Tim Coronel again cutting the corner, and we're with Ice-T. DRS is open. He's going to drive right past him. And Magic Alonso's trying to fend off Fletcher in the background as VSR Ice-T goes round the outside, and he makes that move stick, does he? To the inside. And he does.
Yes.
He takes the lead of the Grand Prix. And Tim Coronel down into 2nd place. Sean Larry in the Ferrari 3rd. Magic Alonso kept Fletcher behind him in 4th and 5th. Wow. Ice-T gets the move done, Moraine, and now he will be looking to get his head down and pull away to try and win this Belgian Grand Prix.
Yeah. Of course, Tim Coronel has that 3-second time penalty, so it's not a threat. But Sean Larry wants to pass him to get close to Ice-T again, because he will get away in the distance if he's not.
But you probably feel if there's anyone that can, it's definitely Sean Larry. He's got the tyres, he's got the car, he is fast enough. But right now Ice-T is doing what he does best. Get out in front, get his head down and get in the lead. But don't forget, Tim Coronel will have DRS coming to the back, and he's going to try and go for a move, I'm sure of it. Until Ice-T breaks the DRS toe.
He's really close again.
Yeah, it's the DRS. That's what it is.
Yeah, it's really good on this game, DRS.
Yeah, especially on this track. And Ice-T's got to break that 1 second toe. If he can't, Tim Coronel will go straight back at him.
Yeah, he's got a better exit.
So round 2, ladies and gentlemen, the top 5.
Again.
No, top 5 all separated by 2 seconds at the moment. All within DRS of the car in front, as Ice-T had a bit of a wobble at the top of Radion, and that might give Tim Coronel what he needs to get ahead of him. As we're on board with a Toro Rosso right now.
Can he make it?
Yes, he's gone for the switch to the inside. Is it going to make a stick? Ice-T gives him room around the outside, but he's compromised his exit. And Tim Coronel has gone around the inside, but he's gone wide, and Ice-T has got ahead of him again. Oh wow, somehow they've avoided collision and have swapped places 2 or 3 times over the space of 2 corners. This is great racing, this is what we want to see. This is what VRL is all about, ladies and gentlemen.
If you watch Fletcher's on board, you can see how close it is. 5 cars.
Yeah, literally, the gap, I mean, the race victory is right in front of him. He can see it's Tim Coronel, and whilst Tim Coronel is still battling away oh wait, sorry, Ice-T is retaking the lead. Sorry, I've completely missed that. Or oh wait, no, hold on, I've forgotten that Ice-T retook the lead. Oh no, I'm getting so excited by all this, Moraine, I've completely lost my mind. So yes, Ice-T is in the lead, and now Tim Coronel is trying to fend off Sean Larry. Sean Larry goes around the outside of the soft zone. Tim Coronel gives him no room to breathe, but he's not able to keep ahead of him. And Sean Larry in the Ferrari is now into second place, as Tim Coronel is going to have to fend off Magic Alonso now. Is Magic Alonso going to go for a lunge into turn one? No, he bides his time. But Ice-T is now getting away, and he's broken the DRS toe to Sean Larry. He's over a second ahead of him.
Yeah, if he doesn't crash, he's won the... Oh, Jay Fletcher touches Magic Alonso. They almost...
Just see it now. As Fletcher and Alonso are side by side.
Tim Coronel down the inside again.
He's going for it.
Yeah,
oh, and they've just about held on. Oh, he's just about held it.
Fletcher's made the move.
Fletcher's gone around the outside of Magic Alonso, and they've both gone onto the grass. But Fletcher is in 4th place. This is brilliant stuff. Wow. Well done, guys. This is exactly what we want to see. As meanwhile, in 7th place, Aquaplaning is right behind Roddy for 6th and 7th. That's the other battle going on at the moment. Just as the leaders start to space out a little bit, but as I mentioned before, Ice-T has pulled a gap out from Sean Larry in the Ferrari, who's now over a second ahead of Tim Coronel. Importantly, so they're starting to spread out a little bit, Moraine, the leading pack. And this is exactly what Ice-T would want. Championship leader, both of his rivals, well, Burkite not scoring points today, Papine only in 8th place. This is what he'll want in order to win this World Championship, and with the fastest lap as well, he's going to be taking 26 points by the end of this race. Hard to see, excluding a mistake, is from what keeping him from winning once again. It'll be his 3rd victory of the season if he manages to get it done today.
Coronel's got a much better exit than the Ferrari of Sean Larry.
Yeah, and that DRS is very powerful. He's literally just pulling him in towards him, and Tim Coronel has gone back into 2nd place.
Oh, I mean, there goes the fastest lap.
Yeah,
Paul's snitched it from...
Oh, VSR Ice-T will be a little disappointed, but I think the race win is much more important to him than fastest lap at this point. Although he might try to get it on the last lap, famously what Sebastian Vettel used to do. And Sean Larry's got a penalty for multiple warnings, so that'll be good news for Tim Coronel. Indeed. At the moment, Magic Alonso has completely dropped off the leading pack. And if my maths is right, Tim Coronel is about, I'm guessing, a Magic Alonso, I don't know if he has any penalties. Does he have any penalties?
Still. No.
No, so at the moment, if my maths is right, Tim Coronel needs to pull out another 0.2 of a second, and he'll finish ahead of Magic Alonso on the podium. Right now, Fletcher doesn't know it, and I don't know if he has any penalties.
Fletcher has a penalty.
He does. Has he served it?
No.
No, so right now, Tim Coronel
it's still
Sean Larry in 2nd place.
Tim Coronel can get a podium. But Magic Alonso should move up to 4th anyway, but it's gonna be tight for him to...
Well, if Magic Alonso's engineer is on the radio, he needs to... Oh, and Tim Coronel's nearly lost it on the exit, and he's got another penalty.
Oh, that's cost him the podium.
So right now, I believe, once again, if my maths is right, Magic Alonso is currently sitting in 2nd place, and he doesn't even know it, owing to penalties. As we're on the final lap here, as Tim Coronel
also hasn't got a penalty.
Oh, he got one on the last lap, didn't he? Multiple warnings,
he did.
Yeah. So right now, that's what I was saying. Magic Alonso, if he's fast enough, he will get 2nd place, but he's dropping off.
2 seconds.
And now Sean Larry, it's literally less than a 10th, ladies and gentlemen. It's almost to the point we're looking on the interval. Right now, you've got to look at Sean Larry and add 3 seconds. And right now, Magic Alonso, he's out of it now. He's 5th as it's... Well, he's going to be 4th actually, because Tim Coronel's got 6 seconds. Ice-T.
He hasn't got a penalty, so...
Well, Ice-T once again hopefully not to jinx it, but he has been absolutely strong like granite today. Mentally, despite what happened at the start, he didn't get away well at all. He struggled off the line. He managed to avoid incidents and played the strategy to perfection with the safety cars today. As Roddy and Aquaplaning still battling for 6th and 7th. But yes, going back to him as he comes through to the chicane. The championship leader, Ice-T, puts down a marker to the rest of the field. Catch me if you can. And Ice-T has won the VRL F2 Belgian Grand Prix. Oh, wait, hold on. Did he get penalties?
What?
What?
How?
I'm confused, ladies and gentlemen. I did not know he had penalties, Ice-T. Didn't look like he had.
In the race director, it says he doesn't have any penalties.
Well, that is confusing, but ladies and gentlemen, Ice-T, we had him as our race winner, didn't have any penalties according to the race director. But right now, provisionally, Sean Larry is the race winner with Fletcher in 2nd, Magic Alonso in 3rd, and Stewart's inquiry is going to have to come out there because I am not sure what has happened there. Going further down the order, Tim Coronel finishing 5th, Papine up to 6th. So he didn't lose much ground to Ice-T by the standings. Stein in 7th, Kimi in the other Alpha in 8th, Roddy 9th, Aquaplaning 10th, so they both lost points. Well, I was just about to say congratulations to our race winner, but according to the standings that's not the case. Unless it was a glitch, we'll just have to wait for the confirmed classification.
Yeah, there's a Ferrari on the top step. So.
Yeah, so it's... Are you absolutely 100% sure, mate, that there was no penalty?
Yeah, I'm watching the chat, nothing. Well, someone asked, but I still didn't respond yet.
Yeah, that's really, really strange. Apologies, ladies and gentlemen, for the confusion. Believe me, I am just as surprised and confused as you are right now. We were under the impression that Ice-T, without any shadow of a doubt, was the race winner. So I'm just going to have a look, see if I can find the race director. Ignore that, I seem to get experienced a lot. So Ice-T, did he get a penalty? So, no. So Ice-T has been relegated to 4th place, even though he didn't score any penalties. That is, well, the race, the stewards are going to have to look into this and change the order, because to be honest, that is not right. And the VSR Ice-T should, in my mind, be the race winner. I'm just looking through here now, as you can see. So there was no incidents involving Ice-T. Nothing on the order, nothing on the classification to suggest that he got a penalty at all. So that will have to be reviewed and considered. But in terms of, I think what we'll have to do for the interviews, Moraine, I'm going to invite Ice-T to the interview. We have to get him on. So I'm going to see if I can find him. He's not in the chat, so I'm wondering if he's gone. Are you able to invite him on my chat, or would you want me to do that?
Yeah, I'll recommend players for you.
Cool. Could we also get Sean Larry and I believe it was Fletcher who was 3rd? Or Magic Alonso, yes. But he wasn't, he come 3rd overall, but I think we'll bring all 4 of them on. I think is probably best at this time.
Yeah, keep it short.
Yeah.
Too long.
Yeah, no, of course. I think if we definitely get Ice-T on board, so see if I can find him. So apologies for the delay, ladies and gentlemen. I'm just going to see if we can get our provisional race winner Ice-T, despite what the order does say. So bear with us one moment. So I think Sean Larry came across, and also Fletcher, who was 3rd. Well, he came across line 3rd. So I'm just going to try and invite Ice-T. I wonder if that has something to do with it. I'd love to get his thoughts on what happened. He's usually quite keen. I think I've got him on here. So, sorry, ladies and gentlemen, for the delay. Well, Mariah, whilst the audience are waiting for the confirmation, if you, who's your driver of the day? Yeah, no, you did a great job to get after that poor start to get back into it. So we're just back here, ladies and gentlemen. So we've got just sending out a few invites to our podium finishers. Unfortunately, Ice-T is not available right now for an interview, so hopefully we'll get his thoughts. And we've been joined in the party by Sean Larry. So, Sean Larry, congratulations on the result. It's a bit premature for me to say congratulations on the win because on the track, it looked like for all the world to see that ESR Ice-T had won the race and he didn't have any penalties. Some reason the game relegated him to 4th place. So I'm going to reserve the congratulations in terms of a potential win, as that will be under review. But nonetheless, how do you feel about your performance? It was a good drive overall, would you say?
Yeah, I would. Congrats to Ice-T. I think he did a great job with the just driving in general all weekend. And for me, this was really the start of my season. Really, last weekend was shocking. Didn't even get to qualify, so it was really nice getting to qualify in the medium tire. And it was a pretty good lap, P2 I think.
Yeah.
So yeah, really good. Big thanks to my friend Boan Pole. He did really well. Just got unlucky with in the traffic behind us and his qualifying. And yeah, I had some good fun out there. I think the safety cars need to be addressed in this new update, because at first it was fun, but now we're having safety cars way too much now, and it's just, I'm not complaining. I'm happy with it. Sometimes it benefits me, sometimes it goes against you, like today. But I think overall, it's best if Codemasters balance it out, because it's shocking. I can't remember how many safety cars we had, and for the silliest of incidents. So yeah, but really good racing with everyone today. So let's hope I'm on the podium.
You hit the nail on the head there, my friend. And of course, the result is going to be reviewed anyway. From what I had on my book, you were definitely second overall at minimum. So wait and see how that goes. But yeah, you're absolutely right. The safety car, it did come out a bit too often. I think there was one incident where one driver had actually left the session, and as a result, it triggered a safety car, which I find strange. One thing I did want to ask you, so you made a very bold move when you were leading the race before the final safety car to pit onto the soft tyres. Obviously, seemed like the right strategy to go through. Did the soft tyres manage to last towards the end of the race? Could you seem to drop off a little bit, or were you not quite able to keep them going like Ice-T was?
Around this track, it's really important that you get a tow or you have a lead. So if you don't have a lead and someone is chasing you behind you, then it's really not ideal. And yeah, I had Tim behind me, really hounded me and pushing me, and he had the slipstream and he had medium tires, which were quite new. So compared to him, I think the overall pace of the soft tires were quicker, but I was struggling with some other issues as well. Because of these safety cars, you can never anticipate when they come, how many of them. So I had like 5 laps of fuel, which is a lot of weight. And then during the safety car, I tried to burn it off. And then I don't know if I forgot to put the engine mode back into lean or standard during the safety car. But what that meant was that I was wondering why I was getting swamped by everyone on the straights, and then I looked at the temperature panel and it was 144, is almost red, the engine. So yeah, there were some mistakes by my side at the end of the race, which meant that I couldn't challenge for the win. And yeah, getting past Tim took longer than it should. So yeah, combination of things, but not just the tire. The tires were pretty okay, to be honest. At the end, I'm sure they could go a bit longer because yeah, they lost pretty long around here.
Yeah, no, it's an absolutely great battle to see, especially with you with Tim. Tim just wouldn't give up. So, no, that's great. Thanks very much for getting your force, and congratulations on the result. Of course, right now we don't know if that is first or second. But again, I've always enjoyed watching to see the Ferrari on the podium where they belong. So thanks very much, and best of luck for the next race, my friend.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Take care. So, I believe also Fletcher has joined us in the chat. Fletcher, are you there, my friend?
I am here.
Hi, great. How are you this evening?
I'm good.
Good. So
I'm
first of all, congratulations on the podium. So no matter what happens, it looks like you are on the podium. Whether that's second or third, that remains to be seen. So considering what happened in the German Grand Prix, where you were so unlucky to lose out on a victory, a fantastic recovery drive this week. Come back. Did a great job in your first time at the Mercedes, and that's a podium position for you. How do you feel with your performance today?
To be honest, I'm not happy with my performance. I know it does sound a bit ridiculous, but well, a lot of incidents happened with Big Roo. He was brake checking me, swiping me off the track, and then he spun me around completely at turn 1 after the safety car, and I went back down to dead last. But the first safety car, I double stacked with my teammate after making a good start up into like 7th, and then I was down in last again, and then I had to make my way back up. Then another safety car come out. I pitted for mediums, everyone else came in for softs, and well, to the end I was thinking I had no way of keeping with the soft guys, but I made 2 passes. Someone understeered into me and spun off, but that was a bit unfortunate. But I made my way up, and I was staying with the soft guys quite competitively, even though I was on mediums. And well, I made passes, and over the line came second from last.
Yeah, no, you're absolutely right. And I remember the incident where you got sort of double stacked in the pit lane by your teammate. It must have been horrible sitting in there. It felt like an eternity. Towards the end of the race, you found yourself in a great position battling with the likes of Alonso and Tim, and also Sean Larry and Ice-T as well. It looked like it was a bit of a difficulty getting past Alonso. Did he seem to have a lot of straight line pace in that Renault? Because it didn't seem like it at first, but all of a sudden it come alive. How was it battling with those guys for you?
Yeah, it was good, it was fun, but I was just saving the Eros, and I was letting them battle while I stayed back, so I wouldn't get any damage, but also I would save the ERS, and then in the last few laps I think you saw I caught back onto them and made
Absolutely,
passes.
Yeah. No, it was great to see some really good overtakes as well. So obviously with half the season left to go, at the moment Ice-T leading the way quite comfortably. Of course his result will have to be confirmed. Do you feel after the first 2 drives that you've had, where you've been competing for race wins in both of them, do you feel there's still enough time for you to mount a championship challenge?
Nah, I mean, maybe if I'd won last week.
Come on, you've got to put more fighting talk than that, Fletch.
Nah, no, I don't think so, no. I don't know, how long is the season?
So I think we are just going to check the calendar now. So I think it's 11 races. Yes, so 11 races. We're 5 down at the moment. The next one's at Monza as well.
Maybe then. Oh, is it Monza? Alright, I'm very, very good around Monza.
Oh, good. Well, I look forward to seeing that then.
Yeah. I've been doing practice there this week. I did 18.8 in quality, which is...
Oh, that's good. Impressive. Very impressive.
But, yeah, I've got it in a league race next week. But, yeah, I'm happy with coming from last to second. I think that just goes to show, like, I can be competitive, and especially keeping with the guys on the softs on mediums. Yeah, that was good as well. But it's been a fun race, a stressful race, and I'd just like to make a suggestion as to whether we can turn these safety cars off or not, because, like you said, a bit too frequent.
Yeah, I mean, if there was a way where we could sort of have them in there for like serious incidents, like I don't know if you saw the first lap incident, we had one of the Williamses literally was flying in the air. It was hilarious.
Yeah, I saw it. I was behind them.
Yeah, that's the thumbnail for the video for sure. But no, you're absolutely right. That does need to be reviewed, and hopefully, if Codemasters can find a way to patch it, and as you said, and make the safety come out for serious incidents rather than every 5 minutes or every time someone leaves, and that would be great. But yes, we'll have to review that. But as you're saying, yeah, congratulations on your drive, Fletch, and once again. Thankfully this time you managed to be rewarded for your efforts, and hopefully we'll be seeing more of that from you in Monza as well.
The Slipstream Fest, it's going to be a good one.
Oh, it's going to be a good one. I'm looking forward to it indeed. So thank you very much.
You and me both.
Take it easy, my friend. Have a good one.
Yeah, cheers for commentating it, man. See you later.
I'll do my best. See you later. Bye-bye.
See ya.
So, ladies and gentlemen, yes, so that was Fletcher. At the moment, second on the classified order, but that could all change. And if you want to know at the earliest point when the confirmation of the result will be given, that will be made online by Vision Racing League, and that will be announced on Instagram and Twitter. So the Instagram handle is Vision Racing League, and the Twitter handle is VRL_PS4. So that is the end of our coverage for the round 5 of the VRL F2 Belgian Grand Prix. My co-commentator Morenas had to go, unfortunately, but thank you very much to him for helping me out this evening, and you'll be able to see him and many of our other your favourite VRL drivers in the F1 race, which takes place at 2:30 PM UK time, 3:30 PM Central European time, and it's in Belgium as well, so make sure you tune into that. Please like, share and subscribe to the Hot Lap Mode VRL PS4 channel. We need you guys to show us some love and support so we can continue to bring you the best online esports racing that PlayStation and YouTube has to offer us. So that about ends it for our coverage. I am Adam Burns, your commentator. Thank you very much for joining us. Have a good evening and take care. We will see you at the next race in Monza in a week's time. Good night.